Star Wars geek girls. They're geek girls that like Star Wars. And sometimes cry.
Hi, welcome to Star Wars Geek Girl. I'm Zoe. Lizzie is busy. She's road tripping up to school. But instead I have Jonah here to talk about Book of Boba Fett.
Yay! Happy to be here.
Yay! I'm excited. We haven't podcasted in a little while because there's been no news really, and also because holidays and school and everything. But we're
Totally
back.
Makes sense.
It's 2022, so we have a lot to look forward to for Star Wars 2022, which is exciting.
Yeah, there's a lot for sure.
Right now we have Book of Boba Fett. What are your spoiler-free thoughts?
Spoiler-free thoughts. I thought it was a great start to the series. I definitely felt very excited over what we got to see. And of course, my mind started thinking about all of the possibilities and all the theories were coming to me. And I love it when Star Wars does that.
Yeah,
that's the first episode summed up for me.
Yeah, for me it was just really exciting. I got to see it in a movie theater, so now every other episode is not going to be as cool because it wasn't a movie theater. But it was just really cool to watch, and it was like, because I wouldn't say I had super high. I don't know how to put this. Like, I don't want to say I don't have high expectations because I knew it was going to be good, but it was like I didn't have really like I wasn't super like going into it like here's how I want it to like go, I guess, which I have been, I think, with other things. Or this, I was just kind of like, oh, it's Boba Fett. We'll see what happens. And I think that blew me away with how amazing it was.
Yeah, same. And I was so jealous of you seeing it in a theater.
It was. Yeah, a theater near us does like you can like it's like a couple $100 depending on like if it's a weekday or holiday or whatever, and like you like just have like a bunch of people come. They give you free popcorn, and like so we just like had a bunch of people and we split the cost amongst us, and like just saw it in the theater. Then we watched the holiday special cartoon because they gave me the remote, and then we watched Book of Boba Fett, and then we watched Empire Strikes Back. It's really fun. And then I watched the episode again on a TV, and I was like, this is cool, but it was a little cooler the first time.
yeah, definitely much cooler in that size of the screen.
Yeah, and easier to see the parts in the dark. We watched the TV and like some of the lights were on, and I was like, oh, I don't remember it being this dark.
That's right. Yeah, because it took place in the night of the desert. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, still very good. I'm very excited. All right, we can talk about spoilers now. Stop listening if you don't want spoilers. Go watch the show instead.
And then come back.
Yes, of course, come back. I really like the dual timeline thing. Yeah. I guess I wasn't really expecting that. I thought it would be like, oh, we'll get flashbacks like the Sarlacc and stuff, but I didn't think it'd be so like two timelines, and I love that a lot.
I really did. Yeah, I completely agree with you. And it reminded me of Din in season 1 when the armor was hammering away at stuff. You saw flashbacks of Din and his childhood. So yeah, it was really cool to get Boba's side of the story, what was happening beforehand. And I'm just curious why he's experiencing these things. Like there's a reason, and he tells Fennec that the dreams are back, and so you get the impression that at some point he didn't have any, and all of a sudden he has this searching within himself kind of moment, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to unfold.
Yeah, and I think what I'm really looking forward to, because I guess it's just me assuming. I assume we're gonna continue to follow those storylines throughout the series, and I'm interested to see how they start to like connect. Like, are we like obviously with these Tuskens in the like flashback one? So like, are we gonna see those Tuskens again? Assuming they don't die, and that doesn't, with that.
I hope not.
Yeah, or like, is it just gonna be like, are we gonna see like? Is there going to be an episode where it's like very parallel stories like between the timelines, and just how they take that? I think is really cool.
And I totally understand that the dreams are there for our benefit so that we understand where he, where he was in these last 5 years since Return of the Jedi. But from an in-universe perspective, like, why is it happening at this point in time that he's having these dreams? So yeah, I like that they're presenting that sort of inner conflict that he's having.
Yeah. And I think, again, this is when we saw in The Mandalorian too, like seeing a little bit more of like a human side of Tuskens. These Tuskens are a little bit more brutal than the ones in the Mandalorian. They were a little nicer, but it's just cool to see. I really like the kid Tusken. I think he's like, I know he's kind of a jerk, but I just think he's so adorable.
Oh, I know. I wrote down, I think he's super adorable. Yeah, I really love the variety of the Tusken Raiders that we've seen, or the Sand People that we've seen, because it reminds me a lot of the indigenous tribes that once existed in the Americas, and how they all had different approach to life, and had different cultures and whatnot. So yeah, I like seeing that sort of variety, and how, just because we saw one group of Tusken Raiders treating Shmi very, very badly in Attack of the Clones, doesn't mean that they're all the same, that they all should be painted with the same brush. So I really like that we're getting this sort of variety to the Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, I really and I like how, like, in this tribe, and this is something even the Mandalorian didn't do, like they all look very different, and you can tell like which ones, like they have their own different markings and like clothes, and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, and I definitely like how you can tell which one's the leader, which one's like the either the right hand or the wife of the leader, and then there, of course, there's the child who seems to be the son of the leader. And I like how there's some sort of hierarchy in this little group of theirs.
And how much personality they have. Like, they don't speak, you can't see facial expressions, but they all, the ones we spent a little more time with, have like distinct personalities, I feel like.
I completely agree.
Think that's really, like, I love like towards the end where he like hands him the thing, and I was just like, because I was like, I haven't known this character for like screen time total probably maybe 20 minutes, if that. And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely something he would do. Like, I don't know this person, but like it fits,
Totally. Yeah. I do love that their personality stands out. And I really love that the little Tusken boy, I know we're jumping a little bit ahead here, but I really love how he seems to be like the leader when going out to get more melons. And I just really like that sort of setup to the story, where this kid could potentially become someone that Boba might meet up with in the present timeline. So I like that it's setting it up in a way.
Yeah, I think I said to my dad when we were walking out, I was like, I wonder if there's gonna be like, not like a big battle, like something where he needs help, and he like goes and like calls on those Tuskens, and it's like, because we know from the Mandalorian that like he was wielding a gaffy stick and like wearing like black robes like these Tuskens have. So it seems, maybe, I know some people are like, oh, he killed them all and took their stuff, but maybe he just became like part of the tribe. Is what it looks like to me at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Especially that final moment when the chief offers him the watermelon, or the melon, the desert melon,
the melon of water.
You could tell that he was being accepted for doing what he did. Obviously it wasn't the kid who got the sand creature, as much as we want to believe, but we're giving him the victory for now. But yeah, Boba was the one who handled it, and he appreciates the fact that he did. Otherwise he would have lost his son.
Yeah, and I think we should talk about the present timeline a little more.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I thought the scene where they're all bringing tributes in, I just thought that was so funny.
Oh, that was such a great scene. Yeah,
it was really funny, and I like how Fennec and Boba, and I think we got that from this episode, they really don't know what they're doing when it comes to being like, they've obviously always been involved in the criminal like underworld, but they're not like crime lords. So Boba's just like, well, what's going on? He's supposed to pay me. I'm the crime lord. And Fennec's like, well, I can just kill him. It's like, oh, like Fennec just wants to kill people. Boba's maybe being a little bit too nice.
That was
Very
such
funny.
a funny scene. Yeah, because it reminded me when he said the words, I'm confused and I'm the crime lord. He's supposed to pay me. When the way he said it reminded me so much of Boba in the Clone Wars and Daniel Logan's approach to Boba. And I heard young Boba when he said those words. Yeah, that exchange between him and Fennec, it's just, you can tell these two have an understanding. They have a great friendship and partnership going, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that might be tested, because it sounds like, or it looks to me that Boba isn't really sure how this is all going to work. I think he bit off too much, and so it'll be interesting to see how it tests their partnership. But or even if he, and I remember asking my friend this, like, is this really what he wants? Does he want to be a crime lord on Tatooine? Like, or is this series going to take us in a direction where he realizes maybe this isn't what I want? But yeah, I'm intrigued and I want to know more.
Yeah, and I did also I think it's interesting how he's like, oh, we just, have to go around and like keep all the contacts in check, because that's not something I guess I really thought of when you think of like Star Wars criminal underworld. I guess you think of like, oh, like bounty hunters and like all this like cool stuff, and then like, oh, people have to like just like talk to each other and like like actually do the work. You just don't think about that. So I thought it was really cool that they were like kind of showing that a little bit. And I love what was it, like the Paradise Oasis?
Oh yeah, the sanctuary.
The
cantina that's there. Yeah, that was really cool because we're so used to seeing that other cantina.
Yeah.
From A New Hope, and it was really interesting to see one that's a bit more modernized. It has more light. It looks like it's air conditioned.
Plants in there.
Yeah, right? Yeah, like that was really cool.
They dump money in Boba's helmet, like.
And Garza Fwip is the owner, which is really cool because as we know in Star Wars, Twi'leks tend to be this race that unfortunately gets enslaved, and it's just terrible to see them in that sort of situation. So it's great to see this Twi'lek who is the owner of this place. She's not a dancer or singer that we know of, but here she is running this business. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then later they run into those assassins and have the fight. Boba tries to blow him up, and the shield bounces it. And you're like, Boba,
yeah, that wasn't a great move, Boba. That wasn't. That was another young Boba thing that I picked up on. Like that's really like Daniel's Logan Boba.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, that was an interesting scene. I know people complained about it for this reason, but I liked how Boba kind of like gets taken out fairly quickly. Like he's still very cool and does his like stuff, but then he's like, because he's still healing from presumably the Sarlacc and whatever else he's been through.
It's interesting how people reacted to Boba, because they were like, well, why is he rushing to the Bacta tank? And it's like, you guys, in The Mandalorian, he really did some cool things with those stormtroopers, but they were stormtroopers. We know that the quality there isn't what it's supposed to be. So Boba was able to take over very quickly in a very cool way. But these assassins were definitely a few levels up from stormtroopers,
and they caught him off guard.
Yes, they caught him off guard.
He could prepare. He prepared presumably for the stormtroopers a little more.
Yes,
and he did blow himself up a little bit right at the start, which doesn't help.
Exactly. And I got the feeling, and this probably is just me overthinking it, but those staffs that they were using, the that had the electricity running through them. I don't know why, but I got the visual imagery of those things being something that Sabine, the weapon that she created,
Yeah.
maybe they were some
Like
similar
heating up the
technology.
Death Star and stuff.
Yeah, so it like Beskar conducts that stuff,
Yeah.
and so it's going to be worse for him than it was for Fennec, because Fennec's not wearing any Mandalorian armor to absorb
Her
that
armor's not
stuff.
really, she doesn't have that much metal armor.
Yeah,
My sister did her costume, so I know there's not that much actual armor plates
exactly.
all over her. Like
So he
Boba
was
has.
absorbing that stuff, and it was definitely coursing through him. And yeah, he had reason to want to go back to the Bacta tank.
Yeah, exactly. I did think that was a cool scene watching Fennec like parkour across Tatooine.
Oh yeah, the whole parkour scene.
Yeah, I'm really interested to learn about those assassins and like
Yeah,
where they came from. My gut says like Crimson Dawn. That's also just because I really like Kira and want to see her do things.
I completely
Maybe be in the
agree.
show,
Yeah.
but and also because they
Yeah.
were red. So yeah.
I know some people on Twitter were throwing around the name Nightwind Assassins because apparently that name shows up in the credits somewhere, probably the international credits. But yeah, Nightwind Assassins. To me, that gives me that they're more local because of the desert being at night tends to be more dangerous than during the day. So yeah, I feel like that's more of a Tatooine based. And I'm thinking that it's the mayor who sent them. It could be something that, challenging Boba. But of course, that's just me theorizing. But yeah, Crimson Dawn is equally cool. Actually, it's more cool than that theory because I would love to see Kira.
Yeah, they were red and like Crimson.
Yes, yeah, it gave you that vibe. Yeah.
But it could be the mayor. That would be a good contender. It could be a lot of people and things.
Yeah.
We don't even know.
I do like that if you took, because I, of course, had to pause every single moment during that fighting sequence. So there are some of them that have tattoos behind their masks. And I thought that was really cool too, that they were wearing masks, like it was COVID appropriate. And so
and cons just because it's a COVID safe costume.
Exactly.
It'll be them and Night Sisters.
And I just thought the whole tattoo thing, especially the one that Fennec ended up catching, had a tattoo that reminded me a lot of Cintas Vel from the expanded universe from the Legends comics. And Cintas Vel ended up being Boba's wife at some point. So, and she was Kifaran. So she had those lines similar to what Quinlan Vos had, only they were black. So yeah, I'm curious to see if Boba unveils whoever this person is, whether those markings turn out to be very Kifaran and it might like ring a bell for him. Who knows? But yeah, I'm curious to find out answers from that one that she ends up capturing.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting because I feel like I'm really invested into like both timelines of what's going on. So I'm really excited to see how they go and how because obviously Boba is a different character to the one we know from, and obviously it's not super, there's not a lot of characterization in the movies in Empire and Return of the Jedi, but he is different. Even in in the Clone Wars, he seems like as a child like a little bit more brutal than what we're seeing now. So it's interesting to see how presumably this experience with the Tuscans really changed him. Made him this more like an honorable character that we're seeing.
Yeah.
That we saw in Mando.
Can't wait. Oh man, I'm so excited.
Yeah, and seeing more flashbacks would be cool. I know I was telling my dad, I was like, if they want to go further back with flashbacks, like Daniel Logan's still around too.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All sorts of things. I'm really excited to see where it goes. I was surprised to see like a lot of people liked it, but a lot of people like didn't like it. And I was like,
yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, I don't know what more I wanted.
Yeah, I'm thinking they went in with high expectations given what happened in The Mandalorian. I don't know. In The Mandalorian first episode, it was also kind of slow. They had some
Mhm.
cool moments here and there. I think what really made the first episode of The Mandalorian really stand out for people was Baby Yoda. It
Yeah.
was those final seconds with Baby Yoda. Had Baby Yoda not been in that episode, people would have also been like, huh. That
Yeah.
was kind of slow, and it's because we didn't have that sort of reveal in this episode. So people went in with those expectations thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to see something really cool at the end of this episode. And it turned out not to be the case. I mean, we did see some cool things, but not that Baby Yoda level.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people felt like, that they were disappointed by their expectations. And so or they felt like it was very slow. I thought it was a great episode to kick things off. It's chapter 1 of a book.
Yeah.
Chapter 1s tend to, just introduce what's going on and set up conflict. And they kind of did. They set up what's going on with Boba internally, and they set up some sort of questions here with the assassins, the mayor, and other things that hopefully we'll see unfold.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it was a really good start. Like you said, it introduces everything. And it just gets us within Boba's head, I think, and where he is right now. Obviously I think that'll increase more as we learn about what exactly went down with all the Tuscans and everything. So it'll be really interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to find out. And then there was also that sand creature that, at least in the audio description, it was described as a behemoth. I was like, oh, that's a great SAT word.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know what that is. Like, I wonder if that's some like EU thing. And it seems the general consensus seems like everyone's like, I don't know what that is. Like,
it sounded like it was referring back to something I wasn't quite clear on, or didn't really pick up on, but yeah, it sounds like it was paying homage to something. It looked like, I mean. So yeah, it was a very interesting creature, and I can understand why Anakin hates Tatooine, not just for the sand, but just like for other reasons, like this creature here.
It's Australia.
Yeah, it's Australia. Yeah. It has all the worst things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, cool seeing everything. I was like, I don't like that thing. I don't want it to do anything ever. I at first when I saw the claw, I was like, oh no, is that a crate dragon? Because that's too much. But it was just the four-armed weird things that I didn't like.
But it was great too, because this is what leads Boba to being accepted. And I really liked how they inserted that in there.
What they cut his head off with. All
Probably yeah, it was probably the chain, because the chain had spikes on it, so they had to like saw it back and forth, which is very graphic. I'm sorry for painting that image.
You're right. I forgot this chain had spikes. I was just like, what? The stick do that?
Yeah. Poor Rodian though. He didn't make it.
Yeah, I didn't want to know what was going on with him, because he didn't really want to be freed. Like, he sounded the alarm basically when Boba tried to free him. And then he was like very eager to like dig up those little melon things and like just give them over. So it's just really interesting to me, like what kind of position he was in and how he got there. Because he was chained up. He was a prisoner.
Yeah.
But like he didn't seem too distressed about that at all.
The thing is, we don't really know much about the Tusken Raiders, right? I don't think we know what they look like underneath in canon. So I'm thinking the Tusken Raiders accept people into their tribes. So this guy might be aware and just wanted to be part of something, who knows. And that's why he was willing to do those things, call out the fact that Boba was going to escape and find those melons. So I like the idea of him wanting to be part of this tribe and wanting to be accepted the way Boba had been accepted at the end. And yeah, I really hope we'll get to learn more about how what do the Tusken Raiders really look like under there, because I'm so curious. And the reason why is because the actor who portrays the Tusken chief, um my friend pointed this out to me, but he is a very good looking actor. And I was like, why would you hide that, Lucasfilm, under robes and masks? How dare you?
Have you seen that video of Tamara Morrison being like, you can't cover my face, this is a moneymaker?
Exactly. And the guy looks like he could be Enfys Nest's brother. It's just, he has that look to him, and I thought, oh my gosh, why would you hide that? That's beautiful. But here's hoping maybe that they unveil their masks, maybe they unveil who they look like to each other. And so with Boba being part of the gang, we might see what they look like. So I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers.
Well,
And speaking of the word gang, there was also that group that was adding graffiti to the walls.
Yeah.
Totally
I don't know
forgot
what to
about
make of that.
And that's another point of conflict. These guys look like they might pop up later. Looks like they just go around vandalizing things and whatnot. So that might be something that Boba has to stamp out. So that will be interesting to see. And I'm curious if they're with that group of bikers that we see in the promos that have those really cool bikes that look like a chrome blue and red. I forget what colors they were. But yeah, I'm curious whether they're all related and what Boba's going to end up doing.
Yeah. I think I just thought of this when you were talking about the Tuskens, but I think like what you're saying, like they're let people in and stuff, and the helmet, I was like, it seems very, very similar to the Mandalorians, especially in the Mandalorian. Like maybe like they have a helmet rule similar to what the Children of the Watch had, and obviously like foundlings and things with the Tuskens. I'm thinking of those parallels.
For sure. Yeah. I my friend and I love to come up with crazy alternate universe stories. And one of our stories deals with a Tusken Raider who decides to leave their tribe. And one of the most sacrilegious things you can do in this story that we made up is taking off your mask and unveiling who you look like to someone else, which is very much like Din from the Mandalorian. So yeah, I really love that idea. I hope they incorporate it. Not that they know that we made this up, but but I really hope to see that at
your
some point.
Specific story.
Yeah. But yeah, such a great first episode. What else are we missing? Do we
the scene, I mean, the whole scene at the beginning with the Sarlacc was obviously just really cool.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Getting to see that was also kind of gross too.
I didn't like the sounds. It wasn't the visuals as much for me. It was this like squishy sounds. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's too much.
yeah, that was intense in that way. But it was really cool how he got, burst out from the sand, and you could tell that he was just exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, the acid from the Sarlacc plus the fire, the lack of oxygen, the guy was just out of it.
And the Jawas.
Oh, those Jawas. Those jerks.
It was so funny. And the one like rifle bashed him, like just full on just hit him in the head. And Steph and I fist bumped because Jawa pride.
Of course.
But yeah, I think my dad was like, it's really interesting how they're making like the Tusken Raiders nice, like the mean Tusken Raiders from New Hope, and the cute little Jawas are the like horrible, like in the Mandalorian and in this. It's so funny.
Yeah, they challenge your preconceptions.
I just love Jawa. So I was like, yeah. Smack him in the head. And then later when they were taking the money out of his helmet when it got thrown.
Yeah, those little mischievous guys.
One of my favorite like background details is always in the one episode of Clone Wars where I forget exactly why, but the guy has like money or something, and a Jawa just jumps on him, and they just start fighting. It's like a big weak way, and then like a little Jawa just going in. It's that like Hondos.
Yeah, it sounds familiar, but I
think
just
it's
can't.
I think it's like the one. I think it's the episode before. Is it Dooku captured? It's like Obi-Wan and Anakin, I think, are walking in, and then behind them, there's like
And then that's when
on, and a Jawa just like leaps at this guy and starts beating on him.
that's
Always cracks
funny.
me up.
Yeah, that's hilarious. But yeah, I think it set up a lot of great things that it's just going to jump off from there and try to tackle those. So yeah, that gang with the graffiti, the mayor, the assassins, like there's a lot there for them to focus on moving forward.
There's what is it, 7 episodes?
Yeah, 7 episodes.
7. And then we don't know if there's a season 2 or not. I don't think.
I would hope so. I'm already excited.
I'm very invested.
Yeah, I'm invested, and I hope to see where it goes next. And I remember online on Twitter, I was like, man, I want Koska Reeves to show up out of nowhere, interrupt the tribute line, and just but just bother and mess with Boba. Like, I just want her there for banter.
I think I saw someone say, like, I think Din should have, and this wouldn't make sense timeline wise, but Din should have showed up with Baby Yoda and be like, hey, can you have babysit for a little bit?
That would have been hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it's cool that we're getting more of Tatooine. I know some people are kind of tired of this planet, but I think we've seen plenty of the same areas in the past, and now we're getting other aspects to it. And I love that in itself, just the world building and getting to know more of this place, and not just like those random spots that we've visited over and over.
Like, while we visited Tatooine a lot, I feel like even when we're with characters like Luke or Anakin who like grew up there, lived there, we only see like right before they leave.
Yes.
Like, we go back and visit it very briefly. So I think getting to spend a lot more time, would help. I would like to do so.
Yeah.
I could watch a whole episode of just a tribute line.
Yeah. At one point, I remember when I was watching it, I couldn't help but think back to in the Hunger Games. There's a moment when Katniss Everdeen volunteers herself as tribute to replace her sister. And it's constantly used as a meme or something online. Like, I volunteer as tribute, and I would volunteer as tribute to just, just sit with Boba, maybe sit on his lap and be like, so how was your day?
Yeah. I also have to get a protocol droid.
Oh, yes, that's right. They do need a protocol droid for all
apparently EV-99 can't really translate very well.
I guess not. No.
That's a torture droid, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and then of course the Trandoshan that showed up there. So that's another point of conflict. Like, even Boba said, when they give compliments, they sound like threats.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that are going to be coming at Boba all at once, and I'm curious to see how he's going to react. Is he going to pull off that, that move that he did when he was surrounded by the assassins? Is he going to shoot first, or is he going to think this through strategically? So I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's interesting is like Boba and Fennec, and they have like them and like the Gamorrean guards and like their droid, because like they have like Jabba's empire, like they're have all these connections that they're working on, but they don't have the same resources Jabba did. The sail barge is destroyed. Pretty much all of his people were presumably killed or something on the sail barge. Like the palace was very lively in Return of the Jedi, and it's empty.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see if he wants to, if he's going to be able to build that back up, because he has all these connections, but if the connections go sour, it's just him and Fennec.
Yeah. And it just goes back to what I had mentioned was, I'm curious whether this is what he really wants, or is this just going to be, him realizing you know what? I don't want to do this. Maybe I want to go back to hunting, or, or maybe discover some other aspect of my life that I want to pursue.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And I think what's interesting there is like if Boba decides he doesn't really want to do this, how's Fennec gonna react? Because we know she's like sworn her services to him, saved her life, but she seems a little bit more into the criminal, like the crime lord stuff than he is. He's a little like, oh, we'll just kill him.
Yeah,
Boba's not, and so it's interesting to see like how she's gonna take it if Boba doesn't want to follow this path. I don't think she'd like try to kill him over it or anything, but I don't know if she'd be like, yeah, let's go be upstanding citizens, but it sounds fun,
Yeah, I remember when the promos were coming out, there was one instance when Fennec looks at him and she kind of has like this "I can't stand you right now" kind of expression, and part of me feels like she might not even want this either. I mean, well, right now she to me she doesn't, it feels to me like she doesn't want it. She doesn't want to be part of this. But she has that oath that she's made to Boba, so she has no choice but to go through with it. That's my impression. It'll be interesting to see, because Boba of course wants this right now, so that could be some friction that we could see moving forward, because I get the impression that she's not into it. She'd rather kill, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think if he doesn't want, I think it'll depend, like if he wants, because he's into his honor now, is like if he wants to go do something better, I guess is the word, the crime lord, is she gonna still want to follow him? Or because if he goes back to bounty hunting, I'm sure she'll be all for it, but like it depends on what path he takes and what how she reacts to that. I think would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be for sure. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. I think we pretty much touched on everything. Oh, the Massive. I just want to say that the Massive, even though it's creepy, a creepy dog, I still think it's adorable.
I love them. I think they're so cute.
I think they're cute. And like I was telling my mom, I want to hug it. And she's like, oh yeah, it's going to want to hug you too and bite your head off.
One of my friends is a Tuscan, and I was like, and he's like this big dog. He's really gentle, really sweet. I was like, you need to dress her up as a Mastiff.
Yeah.
Like, it would work.
Perfect.
He's the right size,
Yeah.
No, I think they're adorable. When the behemoth hit it, I was scared.
Oh, me too.
Like it killed the Rodian. I was like, oh, that's really sad, poor Rodian. But like it hit the dog. Oh my god. If that dog's dead.
I know.
They're coming back to the village and the dog was a little bit behind them. I was like, where's the doggy? Is it okay?
I had the same reaction. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious what's going to go down next episode. Do you have any thoughts?
I don't know. I think obviously we're going to get answers from that assassin or not. It could very well be he's not talking or she's not talking, whoever it is, and we have to figure this out, like, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would love to see a follow-up to that. And I'm curious if they're going to continue giving us flashbacks in the same manner when he's in the Bacta tank, or if they'll find other ways for flashbacks to be transitioned in.
Yeah, because I think, you can only have him in the Bacta tank so much before it kind of gets to be like, all right, Boba, maybe some like regular physical therapy would benefit you a little more. So like, yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's other. My dad said like, what if we see like some Fennec flashbacks too? Like, because I, at least to me, everyone might not agree, I feel like this is just as much Fennec's show as far as what I'm excited for. I'm just as excited for Fennec as I am for Boba.
Yeah, that would be so cool, and I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, because I had the fortune the opportunity to ask Fennec to ask me Nawen a question when she was back in the Bad Batch press roundtables. And I asked her whether she had a hand in coming up with Fennec's origin story. And she couldn't really say much about it. She's talked about it with Dave and John Favreau, so she definitely has played a part in coming up with that. But it'll be interesting to see whether we see snippets of that, like you said, in this show, because she is definitely a huge part of it as well.
Yeah. I just thought what might be fun is like maybe something happens, we don't want Fennec to get hurt, but what if something happens and she has to go in the back to tank, and then we see like her flashback?
That would be so cool. It's clearly a back to tank of memories.
Yeah. It's like, have you played Fallout?
I have not, no.
In Fallout 4, there's this place called the Memory Den, and there's these little pods, and people get in and just relive memories in the little, because it like hooks up to their head and stuff. So back to tank's just one of those.
That is definitely the back to tank. And it's funny because we know that Yoda was in that once for the Yoda episodes, and he was experiencing a few things there just because
Kanan did too.
Qui-Gon.
In the
and Kanan, that's right. Kanan did. Maybe the back to tank is supposed to unlock things in your mind.
Yeah. Trying to think.
Maybe Luke
High
had
Republic,
something too.
Yeah, in the High Republic, it's like they're Bacta farms and they're learning all about Bacta. So maybe
maybe
we're onto something. Maybe there's some kind of thing in Bacta. Maybe we'll learn that in the High Republic.
Maybe. But yeah, great first episode, I think.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where the series goes, and even just the next episode. I think it's going to be like when I was watching Hawkeye recently. Like every episode, I was like, I need the next one now.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be what this show is for me again.
Same. And we're going to text each other like we did for
every
Hawkeye.
week.
Did you see the episode?
Yeah. I binged WandaVision a couple months ago. I told you.
Yes.
But I was like, man, I don't know if I could have waited every week.
It was torture. Yeah.
So good.
But I do love the theories that people were coming up with. Wild, crazy theories.
Yeah, no, I am glad they don't drop it all at once, mostly because I wouldn't have time to watch it before getting it spoiled by the internet. But
I got you. Yeah.
Also, yeah, it's fun, the discussion every week and everything. That's what I liked about The Mandalorian too. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And season 2, episode 2 will be just as fun, I bet.
I remembered something someone told me, because after we watched it at the theater, we went to a diner and talked about it with a few people that stayed. No, everyone else was like, it's 11 p.m. Why would I go? And we're like, well, the diner's open 24 hours. But we went, and one of Safi's friends named Owen, I can't take credit for this, he was saying like, oh, it's the Book of Boba Fett, like, like it's his story, but what if it's also the Book of Boba Fett, like his honor code, like the book you live?
Oh, wow, that is mind-blowingly cool. Right? Yeah.
It seems like we're gonna learn about how this new code he's kind of living by, code in quotes, comes to fruition with the Tuskens and stuff. I just had to say that before, because he said that, I was like, I have to steal that. That's so good. I know your last name, but your name's Owen.
Yeah, great insight, Owen, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out.
Very cool. Maybe it'll be Boba literally writing a book.
Yeah, maybe.
The Book of Boba Fett. It's like The Hobbit. Yeah. At the end he closes the book and it's like The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. But... Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't have anything else to say now. I just thought of that and wanted to say it.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, and I've pretty much just run out of all the things I wanted to say.
It was so good. Really excited. I'll go over plugs and things. So Star Wars Geek Girl Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram at SW Geek Girl. The website, I have fallen behind because I worked a lot this week, but I do a poll every month, book reviews on Mondays, quizzes on Wednesdays, and blog articles on Fridays. Generally.
Yeah, and the listeners can find me on Twitter with the handle at BlueJayGuys. And they can also listen to me and my mom talk about the Star Wars animated shows on the Geeky Bubble podcast. And we're currently on hiatus, so that is obviously it means that we're not there talking about anything. But we will return for the Bad Bad season 2, and I'm excited for that.
Very excited. Maybe we'll see more Fennec in that too.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Just Fennec and everything. She'll be the new like Hondo or Saw Gerrera. Just everywhere.
Yes, I approve.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for everyone listening. Thank you so much, Jonah, for talking to me about Boba Fett.
Yeah. Thank you for the invite always. I'm always happy to chat.
Super exciting. I was Zoe.
And I was Jonah.
Thank you for listening to Star Wars Geek Girl. May the Force be with you, and goodbye.
Star Wars Geek Girls. They're geek girls that like Star Wars. And sometimes cry.